our third speaker for the day is Mr. Philippe Lazzarini, UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, who is our constant guest for this NGO Fair. Please.
Thank you very much. I don't know yet if it is a constant guest, since it is only the second time I'm coming to this NGO Fair, but maybe in 5 or 10 years' time I would appreciate to be considered as a constant guest to the fair. So let me start, Minister Pierre Abouati, Dr. Maury, ladies and gentlemen here in this room. I have to say it's a real pleasure to be back today. When I came last year, I was in Lebanon only for a few months, and already at that time I was impressed by the vibrant, diverse and creative civil society here in the country. And I have to say that over the year, having visited so many local NGOs, initiatives and youth here in the country, I could feel, the real transformative potential, the youth in this country have. This is not a real surprise for me, because it was not the first time I came in Lebanon. I was here already at the end of 89, 90. I was a very young ICRC delegate, came here for the last year of the civil war, and I was absolutely impressed to see the volunteer of the Lebanese Red Cross, who under the most difficult circumstances certainly were the one providing to the population the most needed and critical services during that time. And I have to say that this spirit of solidarity and of sharing is also felt today under different circumstances, obviously, but also at a time of difficulties here in the country. Civil society organization, as you know, main partner of the United Nations in Lebanon. They play a vital role when it comes to understand what the real needs are, and they play a vital role in terms of delivery of the services. You know that since the beginning of the Syrian crisis, together with the government, the civil society, the UN agencies, we have developed an ambitious response plan, and this plan to serve the refugees and the Lebanese host communities can be implemented only through the local network, the civil society being the real backbone of the response here in the country. And today, when we look at the fair, when we look at the wealth of activities being developed, whether we talk about the human rights, clean environment, gender-based violence, humanitarian assistance, legal reform, good governance, interreligious dialogue, all these are different aspects, mirrors of what Professor Murray was defining as being the beginning of citizenship. Being a citizen is being aware of what the public good is all about, and to look at what our contribution could be. Now, let's go to some, because as a UN bureaucrat, I always need to give one or two statistics. And one of them comes from the Human Development Report on Youth in the Arab World. When the youth in the Arab region were asked a few years ago about their perception on the economy and the security, in Lebanon, more than 60% of the youth aged between 15 and 30 years old believe that the situation can only worsen, no real fate on the near future of the country. It's quite staggering, when you think about this strong negative perception. But one would think that if you have such a negative perception, youth would, in that case, be the driver of change. To say, if that's my belief, I will dream about something else when it comes to Lebanon. But one would be struck. This is not the case. Only 10% maybe of the Lebanese believe that they can play a role to reverse this negative perception. And basically that means that among the educated youth in country, the primary objective becomes to emigrate and to go somewhere else rather than to contribute for better Lebanon. Now, we are all aware about the challenges the country is confronted with. Some challenges belong to the country, some challenges are intrinsically related to the situation in the country. But these challenges can only be addressed by youth, by the youth, by the people who are educated through places like AUB or Université Saint-Joseph. And, yesterday I went to Baalbek and I went to a conference on women engagement in politics and in public life. And we keep saying that the woman is the most underrepresented group in decision making and in public life. But there is another group which is highly underrepresented again, which are youth. I gave you again one statistic. And MPs in this room, please forgive me, but the average age of an MP in Lebanon today is 67 years old, which basically the more than 1 million, 1.5 million of youth between the age of 14 and 25, can hardly feel that they are represented in the decision making here in the country. So let me conclude by talking about the SDGs, because obviously if we have very little belief or negative perception about the near future, we need to reverse it. And I would expect, some of you might have heard about the Sustainable Development Goal. You might have heard that for 2 years, member states and grassroots organizations, civil society have agreed that about what the world should look like in 2030, in 15 years. And basically we have challenged all the countries and their own civil society to start to think about how do you want to look like, and how do you make sure that we are living in an inclusive society, leaving no one behind, everybody having access to education, having access to health, access to job opportunities, and also making sure that the society and the country you will leave behind to your children are stronger environmental countries. These are the SDGs, and I invite you, for those who are not yet familiar, to visit, since we have now 90 different stores in this fair, also the United Nations one, to see what the SDG is all about and how you can reappropriate this agenda for Lebanon. This is all about the country you want, the country you are dreaming of, and to try to reverse the perception I was referring to, and to show what a priori sounds to be completely impossible, is more than possible. And you can do it only if the youth in this room, but beyond this room also, start to play this engine role. And I keep saying, with education, you have also responsibilities, and the future of this country lies in your hand, and you have the responsibility to promote this better future. So, thank you very much, and I hope it will become later on.
fourth speaker, and I think with more statistics to come, is Mr. Saper Fotovar, the country manager at the World Bank. Please join me in welcoming you.
I think I'm a little bit short for this podium. Hope everyone can see me here. Your Excellency, your guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to apologize on behalf of Mr. Farid El-Haj, who is the country director of Lebanon for the World Bank and could not attend this ceremony, and I have the honor of reading his speech on his behalf. Thank you. Good day. It is with great pleasure that I join you today in the annual AUB-USJ NGO Fair to recognize and promote the excellent work that hundreds of local and international NGOs have carried out throughout Lebanon, as well as to encourage youth to volunteer and give back to their communities. Indeed, during the past 3 years, and thanks to the support from the State and Peace Building Fund, SPF, of which Sweden is a contributing member, the World Bank partnered with the Ministry of Social Affairs, as well as with close to 30 NGOs, with the implementation of Lebanon's National Volunteer Service Program, NVSP, one of the World Bank's flagship youth programs in the Middle East and North Africa region. In the first phase, the NVSP financed around 50 volunteering projects, which benefited over 3,000 Lebanese youths, aged 15 to 24. Today, and thanks to the success and impact that NVSP is having on the ground, I'm pleased to announce the launching of the second phase of NVSP, which will also be financed by the SPF and will seek to improve social stability and service delivery in the most vulnerable Lebanese communities hosting Syrian refugees. The second phase of NVSP is one of the most innovative youth projects in the MENA region. The Lebanese youth aged 15 to 29 and Syrian refugee youth in the targeted communities will be able to volunteer together in their communities. In addition, the second phase of the NVSP recognizes that youth face many different and oftentimes overlapping challenges and will provide participating youth a package of services that includes soft skills training for improved employability, as well as psychosocial support for improved mental health awareness. As part of this second phase, I'm delighted to be here with you today to invite NGOs to submit their expressions of interest, to implement innovative volunteering projects that help to mitigate the immediate and potentially long-lasting impact of Syria crisis on Lebanon. The ongoing crisis in Syria has taken a toll on millions of lives, with an estimated 11 million Syrians having fled their homes since the outbreak of civil war in March 2011. In Lebanon alone, the number of registered and unregistered Syrian refugees has reached over 1.5 million, or 1/3 of the country's population. Those communities hosting Syrian refugees are struggling to meet basic needs and face rising and deteriorating intracommunal social tensions. At the World Bank, we believe that youth volunteering is an effective and efficient mechanism to alleviate some of the increasing and utmost needs facing both Syrian refugees and their Lebanese host communities. Volunteering puts youth at the center of development and empowers them to become agents of change by enabling them to identify and find solutions to the most pressing problems affecting them and their own communities. In doing so, volunteering helps to diffuse tensions by bringing youth together around shared goals, thus building more cohesive societies through citizenship development. Volunteering is also believed to improve the employability of participating youth by enabling them to participate in unpaid work. I therefore urge you, representatives from NGOs, as well as youth, to participate in the second phase of NBSP. Lebanon needs you, and we all have the responsibility to give back to our communities. Also, the NBSP logo says, together we make a difference. Thank you very much.
مسك الختام مع راعي هذا الحفل كلمة معالي وزير الشؤون الاجتماعية الأستاذ كيف عاصم.
I've been trying for the last 3 weeks to know in which language I'm supposed to speak.